Well, now let's move on to the BBC, which had an interesting interview with an Israeli military spokesman who explained what we are seeing when these hostages are being released by Hamas.
What are the hostages telling you about their incarceration?
Well, they're telling us, of course, of very horrible and harsh conditions, of very little food, of a continuous presence and pressure of Hamas terrorists as soon as they took them to the tunnels. And very interestingly, they're telling us how heavily choreographed and rehearsed the return ceremony was, and how important it is for Hamas that they smile, our hostages smile and wave and look friendly towards their cruel captors.
Well, we've all seen the release of these hostages, and some of the media have been fooled by the staged narrative that the hostages were being treated well. One British reporter, Dominic Waghorn, fell for the propaganda and reported this. They were held in reasonable conditions, reportedly, though those held above ground lived with the fear of being killed in Israel's bombardment. Now, his tweet has been condemned by Jewish leaders. So why is the media spinning the release of hostages? Megyn Kelly explains.
Here's the one headline from the New York Times. They put out this picture of this Palestinian woman who was freed, and she's hugging somebody receiving her. And the headline is, "A disfigured woman whose case has become well known is among the Palestinians released." In response to which, this guy on Twitter, Adam James, tweets out, "This disfigured woman is a car bomber who, having blown herself up in an attempt to kill Israelis, demanded that Israelis pay for her plastic surgeries. And yet the Times calls her a disfigured woman whose case has become well known is among the Palestinians released." The moral equivalency between 3-year-olds snatched by butchers, that's how our friend Batya Ungar-Sargon put it, and people like this poor, disfigured, alleged suicide bomber is absolutely stomach-turning.
Yes, Sophie, keen to get your thoughts. Is it ignorance or is it malice? Is it the reporter being ill-informed and just not being a critical thinker and making a mistake? Or is there something worse going on here?
I think, Jack, since this whole conflict erupted last month, or back in October, we have absolutely seen that the media, we've got so many people in there taking their views, and it's washing through into their reporting on this war. And that is really concerning because it impacts what information the public is getting. So I think throughout this whole situation, it's been a really big eye-opener for the conduct of the media, not just in Australia, but globally. Are they looking at things critically? How are they viewing the issues on the ground? Why are they reporting in a certain way? Because it seems a lot of reporters that we've seen in those examples are going down a particular road that suits their narrative.
Yeah, Christy, what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure if it's deliberate malice or deliberate ignorance, but as Sophie says, it's certainly extremely crowded. Journalists are under a lot of pressure, and we must realise a lot of journalists working today who perhaps are reporting on this issue, this is the first terrorist or major public policy historical issue that they've perhaps reported on. Are a lot of people in the media at a certain age and a certain experience level equipped and well practiced to look at these issues with the benefit of historical knowledge and with the benefit of critical thought? And it's a really, really important thing to teach young journalists to do. And there's been a lot of mistakes in the reporting. As again, as I said, are they deliberately malicious or ignorant, or just point to perhaps these younger journalists are not very, very well equipped to report on these global issues adequately?
Yeah, I think you could be onto something there.